Hello everyone. So it's day 36 and today I have April 8, 2024 newspaper. Today is Monday and I have Indian Express the ideas page number 9, and I have important article on this page which is about the India Out campaign that recently took place in the Bangladesh. So this article is about that and explaining the importance of India for the Bangladesh and importance of Bangladesh for India. So let us see what this article is about to say, because we have already seen India Out campaign in the Maldives and how the party which was running the India Out campaign got into power, and they asked Indian troops to get out from the Maldives, and subsequently establishes the base for Chinese military. So if such campaign got successful in Bangladesh also, then Chinese military will get access to Bangladesh area also. Then it will be very difficult and dangerous for India's national security point of view. So let us see what this article is going to say. So an India Out campaign in Bangladesh geoprioritizes the joint projects, people to people connections, liberalized visa regime, and can help show a way out. So let us see the Bangladesh location amid India's role in its independence have established the India factor as a powerful discourse in its domestic politics. As you all know that in 1971, for Bangladesh Liberation War, India played an important role. So that article is talking about this also. The emergence of an India Out campaign on social media that advocates the boycott of Indian products with hashtags such as India Out, Boycott India, come as a reaction to that. From Maulana Abdul Hamid Khan Bhashani to the present day opposition alliance led by Bangladesh Nationalist Party, that have been instances of there have been instances of anti-India stands throughout Bangladesh history. Bhashani was pro-China and believed in a model of Islamic socialism. He criticized Sheikh Mujibur Rahman for making Bangladesh a satellite of India, and tried to forge a coalition of the right and left extremists against the Awami League. The BNP, which represents the right of center forces, has an orthodox social constituency inspired by the Bhashani. The party is remotely controlled by its acting chairperson Tariq Rahman, Khalida Zia's son, from London, where he is in exile. The BNP's stance can be seen as an attempt to gain political momentum, giving its steady decline since 2006. Boycotting the election of 2014 and 2024 has contributed to a loss of BNP's political influence and organizational strength in the country. It might be one of the reasons why some of its leadership, including Rahul Rizvi and Amir Khusro Mahmood Chaudhary, seems to be supporting the Boycott India movement, even though the party itself has not come out with an official statement. Rizvi publicly threw away his Kashmiri shawl and called for the boycott of Indian products in front of the party's central office in Dhaka's uh, Naya Paltan. On the other hand, Sheikh Hasina's track record has been strong when it comes to the economic performance of the country over the last decade. Bangladesh is expected to become a middle income country by 2041, while it is on track to graduate from the least developed countries list in 2026. Bangladesh finds itself above average on parameters of the Human Development Index compared to the other South Asian countries. According to the World Bank, Indian exports to Bangladesh were valued at around $324 million in 1991. This interestingly increased to $868 million in 1996 during the first tenure of the BNP. Similarly, during its second tenure in 2001, the exports from India was around $1.06 billion, which increased to $1.66 billion in 2006. A close economic partnership between India and Bangladesh has been one of the factors behind Bangladesh's prosperity. India's proximity to Bangladesh translate into natural trade advantage. Shared land borders and well-established transportation links facilitate the movement of goods often at lower cost compared to the imports from more distant locations like China. India is Bangladesh's second largest import source. Okay. India is Bangladesh's second largest import source with an staggering of 13.69 billion worth of goods entering in the Bangladesh market in 2021. India is Bangladesh second largest import source. Okay, so that means amount of goods that is coming into the Bangladesh, India comes second when providing to the. Okay, it's fine. A dominant theme in India's export to Bangladesh is the supply chain for the textile industries. Bangladesh garment manufacturing sector, a key driver of its economic growth, relies heavily on raw materials and intermediate goods from India. In 2022, non-retail pure cotton yarn and raw cotton, 20.1% of the total imports, were among the India's top imports. These materials are transformed into yarn and fabric in Bangladeshi factories before becoming used to manufacture garments of domestic consumption as well as for exports. While textiles reign supreme, India also supplies Bangladesh refined petroleum, which is crucial for powering industries and transportation. Other significant imports include pharmaceuticals, chemicals, and machinery. Highlighting the multifaceted nature of this trade relationship, recently India exported 50,000 tons of onion to Bangladesh ahead of Ramzan, an exception to the export ban on the crop in December 2023. This is part from the essential commodities such as garlic, coconut oil, and spices. There have also been instances of informal trade between the two countries, crucial in stabilizing inflation in Bangladesh. India is a major supplier of construction materials to Bangladesh for infrastructure development. The supply of diesel locomotives, double and single decker buses, steel coaches, highway duty trucks under Indian government's line of credit has had improved transportation, work efficiency, and office capacity in Bangladesh. The loss incurring Bangladesh Road Transport Corporation is turning profit making with the supply of new tracks from India. And intensification of the India Out campaign stands to derail all of these as well as the ongoing negotiations on the comprehensive economic partnership. Okay, so there is an ongoing negotiation on comprehensive economic partnership agreement between India and Bangladesh. All leaders, including Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, have argued that if the boycott so AL, Awami League leaders, including Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, have argued that if boycott campaign is steadfast, even if garam masala, onion, garlic, ginger, and all spices that come from India should not be seen in their homes. The educated and moderate younger generation of Bangladeshis consider development as the core of the political and diplomatic action. This cohort is keen to be a partner in the process of economic growth and development and is not skeptical of an alliance with India. This generation has given a massive mandate to the Awami League led alliance since 2008, giving hope that in the age of globalization and commercialization, boycotting of products is an obsolete idea. However, the two governments must also actively work to inspire trust and confidence among citizens. This can be done by promoting people to people contact, sensitizing the media in both countries, and liberalizing the visa regime. All of these will come in handy to maintain the India Bangladesh development partnership. So, there are a few important terms India is the second largest import destination for Bangladesh, so that we need to learn, we need to remember. So, another important article over the Indian Express Explained page is about the PMLA, which is Prevention of Money Laundering Act, and how it got its sharp teeth. So, this article is about that. So, let us see. First, let us see the what is written in the box. So, does the bail concession for women also applies to women with agency? Do the stringent bail provisions in the Prevention of Money Laundering Act contain an exception for women? A Delhi court issues. So let us see what is the bail provision. Section 45 provides for the bail on money laundering charges. This provision in the law, like the stringent bail standard in the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act 1967, puts the onus on the accused to prove that there is no prima facie case against them while seeking bail. Section 45 1 clause 1 reads, no person accused of an offence under this act shall released on bail or on his own bond rules unless the public prosecutor has been given an opportunity to oppose the application for such release, and where the public prosecutor opposes the application, the court is satisfied that there are reasonable grounds for believing that he is not guilty of such offence and he is not likely to commit any offence while on the bail. However, there is a crucial exception to the bail standard, provided that the person who is under the age of 16 years or is a woman or is sick or infirm may be released on bail if the special court do uh, special court so directs. The law says this exception is similar to exemption under the Indian Penal Code for women and minors. So, why is the legal? What is the legal precedent? In 2023, Delhi High Court granted bail to 49-year-old Priti Chandra, wife of Sanjay Chandra, who was the director of MS Unitech Group, underlining the exception for women. The ED, like in Kavita's case, had made an argument that the accused was not a household lady. However, the High Court said that the PMLA or the Constitution does not make a distinction between a household lady, a businesswoman, or a political figure. To argue what kind of woman is entitled to fall within the proviso to Section 45(1) PMLA by creating an ad hoc illusionary subclassification of educated women, business women, women belonging to high social strata within the broader classification of women is misconceived, the court said. So this was about the PMLA, not that much important, but PMLA was brought in 2002, and ED is the agency that takes action under the PMLA. So this was about that. But important article regarding the history is about Bose, Barkatullah, and the history of Indian governments before freedom. So this article was arises due to the controversy of the Kangana Ranaut, that who has said that Subhash Chandra Bose was the first prime minister of India. So technically she was right, because in on October 21st, 1943, Subhash Chandra Bose declared the RG Hukumat-e-Azad Hind, that is the provisional government of free India, in the Singapore Singapore, and he was the undisputed leader of that provisional government of undivided India. So let us see what is the article. Actor Kangana Ranaut, the BJP candidate from Mandi, has claimed that Subhash Chandra Bose, not Jawaharlal Nehru, was the first Prime Minister of India, citing the provisional government of Free India declared by Bose in Singapore during World War II. Azad Hind government. Bose traveled to Germany in 1941, hoping for a collaboration to overthrow the British in India, and then to Japan in 1943, from where he arrived in Singapore. There on October 21, 1943, this is here it is written, October 21, 1943, he proclaimed the provisional government of Azad Hind, that is, in the name of God, in the name or by of bygone generation who have welded the Indian people into one nation, and in the name of the dead heroes who have uh, bequeathed to us a tradition of heroism and self-sacrifice, we call upon the Indian people to rally round our banner and strike for India's freedom, Bose said. Quoted in Sugata Bose, His Majesty opponent Subhash Chandra Bose and India's struggle against empire 2011. Bose was the head of state of Azad Hind and also held the foreign affairs and war portfolios. AC Chatterjee was in charge of the finance. S.A. Iyer was the Ministry of Public and Propaganda, and Lakshmi Swaminathan had the Ministry of Women's Affairs. So Lakshmi Swaminathan was also the head of the Women Brigade, that is the Rani Lakshmi Bai Brigade. She was the head of that brigade also, of women regiment in the Azad Hind army. So Azad Hind government claimed authority over the all Indian civilian and military personnel in Britain's Southeast Asian colonies, primarily Burma, Singapore, and Malaya, which had fallen into the Japanese hand during the war. It also claimed prospective authority over all Indian territory that would be taken by the Japanese forces and the all India Azad Hind Fauj as they attacked British India from its northeastern frontier. Bose obtained legal control over the Andamans, which established the legitimacy of the provisional government, much like the Charles de Gaulle's declaration of sovereignty of the Free France government over some island of the Atlantic over the fall of the France. It, the Azad Hind government, obtained de jure control over a piece of Indian territory when the Japanese handed over the Andaman and Nicobar islands in the December 1943. So, through the de facto military control was not relinquished by the Japanese Admiralty, Sugata Bose wrote. The provisional government also gave citizenship to Indians living in Southeast Asia. Sugata Bose wrote that 30,000 Indians pledged uh, allegiance to Azad Hind in the Malaya alone. The Azad Hind government was recognized by the Axis power and their satellites, like Germany, Japan, Italy, as well as the Nazi and the Japanese puppet states in Croatia, China, Thailand, Burma, Manchuria, and the Philippines immediately after its formation. It joined the Axis power and declared war on the Britain and United States. So, but Bose wasn't the first. 28 years before the Azad Hind government came into existence, a provisional government of India. Okay, so this was the article is talking about the provisional government of India that has been formed in Kabul by a group known as the Indian Independence Committee. During the World War I, Indian nationalists based mainly in Germany and the US, as well as the revolutionaries and pan Islamists from India, attempted to further the cause of Indian independence with aid from the Central Powers, that is, Alliance of Germany, Austria Hungary, Bulgaria, and the Ottoman Empire. The uh, Indian Independence Committee, with the help of Ottoman Caliph and the German Kaiser, tried to foment an instrument in insurrection in India, mainly among the Muslim tribes in Kashmir and the northwestern frontier of British India. On December 1, 1915, the ISC established a government in exile in Kabul under the presidency of Raja Mahendra Pratap and the prime ministership of the Maulana Barkatullah, revolutionary freedom fighter who spent decades outside India trying to gather international support for Indian independence. Barkatullah was also one of the founders of the Gadar movement. Okay, so Barkatullah was the founder of the Gadar movement, which began in the California, that is in San Francisco in 1913, with the aim of overthrowing British rule in India. Lala Hardayal, one of the prominent leaders, put forth the following plan of action for the Gadarites. First, use the freedom that is available in the US to fight the British. British rule must be overthrown, not by petitions, but by the armed revolt. Carry this message to the masses and to the soldiers in the Indian army, enlist their support. While the movement was crushed in India by the end of war, the Gadarites left a powerful and lasting impression on both Indians and British. If success and failures are to be measured in terms of the deepening of nationalist consciousness, the evolution of testing of new strategies and methods of struggle, the creation of tradition of resistance, of secularism, of democracy, of egalitarianism, then the Gadarites certainly contributed their share to the struggle for India's freedom. Bipin Chandra and others wrote in the India's struggle for independence in 1988. The Kabul provincial government was one of the many moves by revolutionaries with linked into the Gadar movement and the San Francisco based Gadar party. So, act of defiance or patriotism. Setting up a provisional government and governments in exile has long been a way for resisting movements to claim a political legitimacy. These are not actual governments, even though they are powerful symbols of the hope for the people they represent. Both the 1915 and 1943 provisional governments were more than anything else symbolic act of defiance against the British rule in India. In the present time, a major purpose of the Tibetan government in exile in Dharamshala is to keep the symbolic flame of resistance of the Tibetan people burning outside Tibet. By proclaiming the Azad Hind government, Bose gave his army legitimacy in international law. The oaths of allegiance taken by officers of the Azad Hind Fauj were produced during the 1945-46 Red Fort trials as evidence of the legality of their action. That said, neither of the two provisional governments can, in any seriousness, be called the government of India. This is for two reasons. First, neither of these governments gained wide international recognition. While some countries did recognize and support them, they did so for their own motives. After the wars, this support vanished. Second, these governments never controlled Indian territory, even as Bose held the Andamans, the islands were effectively under Japanese occupation. So was all the territory in the northeast captured briefly by the combined Indian and Japanese army. The Kabul government never set foot on Indian soil. So these are the two reasons. First, the recognition that was done by many countries were due to their own motives, which during the war, which were vanished after the completion of the war. And second, that these governments do not have control over the much of the Indian territory, while Subhash Chandra Bose had control over the Andamans and Nicobar, but effectively they were under the Japanese control. And the military campaign that the Azad Hind Army got success in the northeastern region were due to the Japanese effort. And after the dropping of nuclear bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the supply line was cut, and effectively Uh, Azad Hind Army also get its supplies cut down, so they were not able to operate properly. So that was moreover the Kabul government never set foot on the Indian soil. That they were entirely based in Kabul. So these are the not cannot be termed as government of India. So this article is arguing about this fact. So this was all about, and another is about total solar eclipse in North America. So this is why this is rare. A total solar eclipse is given spot on Earth occurs only in about 400 years. That is because a total solar eclipse is only visible if one is standing in the umbra, the middle and darkest part of the lunar shadow. The umbra shadow is very small and covers less than 1% of the globe during a solar eclipse. So it is occurs only once in 400 years. So that is why it is very rare. So that's all from today's newspaper. So we'll meet with tomorrow's newspaper very soon. Till then,